Welcome to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Dr. Angelika Maria Koch with the educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. Today let's explore how you can prevent, hopefully heal, but certainly manage osteoporosis with natural and effective therapeutic tools. Osteoporosis is a slow-acting ailment, and often one really isn't aware about the changes of bone density unless you break a bone or you're living advanced age. In this video, I will share with you useful tips how you can prevent and certainly manage your osteoporosis. To stay updated with more ongoing videos, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family, and don't forget to click that bell as it notifies you every time I upload a new video. If you are interested in learning more about homeopathy, integrated mental health, health coaching, quantum healing, and so much more, have a look at my website medicanova.net at the online academy, where you will find comprehensive certified home study online courses. And if you are interested in a health consultation either for yourself or your children, contact me at health@medicanova.net. I'm happy to help. So what is osteoporosis? Well, it's defined as a bone disease that occurs when the body loses too much bone or makes too little bone, or both. Women are more affected. They say 1 out of 2 women definitely after the age of 50 are more affected, men too, but less, maybe 25% when their testosterone decreases. So when viewed under a microscope, osteoporotic bones visible contain this abnormal tissue structure. Osteoporosis occurs when small holes or weakened areas are formed in the bones that can lead to bone fractures and also bone pain. Now, what is the difference between osteoporosis and osteopenia? Well, they're pretty much the same, it's just different degrees. Osteopenia is another condition that's associated with bone loss and weakened bone, but it's not as severe as osteoporosis. So both conditions are varying degrees of bone loss and is measured by bone mineral density, or a marker for how strong a bone is and the risk that it might even break. So when you already have osteoporosis, you maybe have limited mobility, trouble getting around, difficulty completing everyday activities. Many elderly people maybe break their bone and therefore require sort of assistance either from home or they have to go into a certain center. Often the hip is affected, but also other parts. It can be the feet, the wrist, the knees, other parts of the body as well. Spine, of course, is here affected. There can be bone pains, and sometimes they can be permanent and they can be quite intense. Loss of height, right, in your whole sort of posture. You maybe have a hunched or stoop posture. Of course, with it comes the feeling of isolation and depression. And depression has a huge link here with osteoporosis. In elderly, if there's a hip fracture, it can be fatal. So this is a serious disease. So what you want to do, you want to start early in order to prevent these loss of bone mass. But the loss of the bone mass and the density is actually caused by a combination of factors. So it's not just advanced age. It's mainly related to nutrient deficiencies due to eating a poor diet, existing health conditions, and others. So the first thing, or the point on the top of the list, I would say, is inactivity. If you have a sedentary lifestyle and you don't move your body, that can add to it, because aerobic exercise, for example, helps to maintain bone mass. Advanced age, I mentioned. Females are more affected, of course, here because of the hormonal changes. So when the estrogen decreases during the menopause, that's where the bone density is affected. But as I said with men too, if their testosterone decreases, that affects them as well. If there's a history of medical conditions such as autoimmune diseases, pulmonary disease, kidney, liver diseases, but I would add also thyroid diseases. We have hyperthyroidism, hyperparathyroidism, thyrotoxicosis, we often have this with Hashimoto maybe, Parkinson's disease. If you have diabetes, inflammatory bowel diseases, of course spinal cord injuries, and any diseases which have to do with your immunity. If you take long-term use of certain medications, and I would say definitely if there is a low level of vitamin D and vitamin K. High amounts of emotional stress and depression 3 times underlined here, really add to this. Talk about nutritional deficiency, especially when you lack important vitamins and minerals. And here the emphasis is on calcium, phosphorus and vitamin K. As well as we talk in a minute about boron and strontium. If you are under weight loss regimes, dieting, that results in severe caloric restrictions, malnutrition. So it has a lot to do with your digestive system. Also, if there's a strong genetic link, of course. But I would say being a woman, unfortunately here, and over the age of 70 are the 2 biggest sort of risk factors for osteoporosis. So usually the doctors typically diagnose this condition using a bone mineral density. It's called BMD test. And it's a special machine which measures the amount of bone mineral that is present in certain areas of your bone. And usually it's the hips, the spine, the forearms, the wrists, the fingers and the heels, and also x-rays are involved. So how long does it take to heal osteoporosis? Well, unless someone has a severe case of osteoporosis and it's really gone down the road too far, a low bone density can be stabilized and can be improved, and it takes about 6 to 12 weeks or even longer. But even with treatment, including medications, bone mass usually does not return to normal after someone has been diagnosed with osteoporosis. But the goal is here to stop the bones from becoming even weaker or to prevent falls or breaks and accidents, right? So prevention is good, but we can also manage this situation. So conventional osteoporosis treatment usually involves medication, exercise, dietary changes, lifestyle changes. And the women often hormone replacement therapy, which comes with a whole truckload of side effects. So let's take maybe a natural route here. So I have a whole list for you today to implement and to really take charge again of your body. So I talked about nutritional deficiency. So we want to start with a healthy diet, right? Food which can actually prevent osteoporosis. So make it a priority to eat enough protein, but here keep it in ratio. Don't go overboard suddenly, or don't buy overboard calcium products, but get a good vitamin mineral supplement with the emphasis on calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, manganese and vitamin K. Vitamin K, if you have a high quality product, comes in a liquid form. About half of your bone structure is made of protein, and so a low protein diet does not support the healing, but also high protein diet, sort of leaches up the calcium. So keep it in moderation. I mentioned exercise, move your body. It's very important here because it helps to build bone mass, improve balance and flexibility, relieve the stress and generally in your life, reduce inflammatory conditions and more. Exercise, especially weight-bearing exercise, I would say, such as walking, tennis, dancing, rope jumping, even if you want to, basketball, backpacking, hiking, all of that help to build strong bones. Swimming is not considered a weight-bearing exercise because of the zero gravity environment in the water. So to improve bone density, it's recommended to have a weight training exercise program, maybe 3 times a week for 30 minutes, if you can manage it. If you're elderly, you want to maybe have kinder, gentler exercises, so you want to free your neck, right? So Qigong would be really great for you, or Tai Chi, or some gentle yoga restorative exercises. Now, don't go into headstands or shoulder stands, you don't want to overdo it here, but you get the idea. Now, we want to avoid calcium vampires, I call them, and these are substances that suck the calcium out of your bones. So in other words, they stimulate the body to excrete more calcium than is being put into your body. Now, these substances, which are the calcium vampires, would be alcohol, caffeine, too much salt, too much animal protein, excess fat, tobacco, even distilled water, because it's lacking here the minerals. Oxalic acid-rich food, and here we have strawberries, we have rhubarb, we have spinach, even chocolate, and aluminium, which is usually aluminium pots and cooking materials, even certain deodorants which contain aluminium. Phosphorus-rich foods and drinks that can also impair the calcium absorption. Here we have, of course, the soda drinks and some milk products, even, of course, processed foods. You also want to stay away from calcium vampire drugs, I call them, and here they just disrupt the calcium absorption. So we have antacids, antibiotics, antidepressants, the cholesterol-reducing drugs, all the steroids, corticosteroids, the diuretics, the laxatives, and so on. You get the idea. You want to support your stomach acid. Right? It's really important because for osteoporosis, you want to have more an alkaline diet in general. So you want to maybe bring in some digestive enzymes as well as HCl, betaine, which helps with your stomach acid, especially if you suffer from GERD or this sort of acid reflux situation. You want to have a calcium magnesium team, right, in terms of supplements. They really work well together in the body. So if you take calcium, you also always should take magnesium or even combine it with vitamin C. Premenopausal women, it's suggested approximately 1,000 milligram of a good calcium product, and with menopausal women, crank up the dosage a little bit to 1,500 milligrams. The best calcium supplements, and here I would like to say in order of preference here, hydroxyapatite, citrate, lactate, gluconate and carbonate, but it's best to avoid taking large doses of calcium. So don't go into mega doses because that actually can create problems, and it displaces the iron and the manganese and the zinc ratio within your body as well, and can lead even to kidney stones. The dose of magnesium should be at least 50% of the dose of calcium. So for additional help, I think add a little bit, so 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. It helps to create this, we call it collagenous fibers, to which the calcium of the bone is attached to. In terms of supplements, add boron, zinc, copper, manganese. It's really essential for bone integrity. You find them in, of course, green leafy vegetables, but you want to have supplements here. Boron is specific, a value here. It has been found to stimulate higher estrogen levels and increase bone density. So it's really good for women after the menopause. In terms of herbs, I would suggest Horsetail Tea. It's rich in calcium and silica, and it helps to build strong bones. Horsetail Tea. You won't grow a tail, I promise you that. Boost vitamin D levels, a big deal here as well. Of course, if you live in a sunny area and country, I live in New Mexico, I have sunshine every day. It's great to go out for 20 minutes and fuel up your vitamin D level. But if you don't, then go and get a supplement. So if you summarize it all, I would say magnesium, 500 milligrams a day, calcium, 1,000 milligrams a day. Bring in vitamin D, about 5,000 IU daily. You want to bring in vitamin K, at least 100 milligram daily. It's really important here. And I mentioned strontium. Strontium 680 milligrams daily would be great here as well. It improves the bone density. It's usually found naturally in seawater and nutrient-rich oils and certain foods. And I also would add fish oil. Yeah, omega-3, 6 and 9s maybe. So I talked about the diet, and I would stress you to sort of include or incorporate a more alkaline diet. Because too high acidity is just, again, adding to the loss of bone mass. And an alkaline diet improves the production of growth hormones and the vitamin D absorption in your body, which are both protective of bones as you age. So osteoporosis may be related also to this acidic environment, and so eating plenty of fruits and vegetables can help promote a more alkaline environment. So you want to have fresh herbs and spices, grapefruit, tomatoes, avocado, black radish, alfalfa grass, barley grass, cucumber, kale, wheatgrass, broccoli, cabbages, celery, beets, watermelon, even ripe bananas. So the idea is that you get yourself a good superfood. Green veggies and green superfood. That's what you want. And it's sort of loaded with this alkaline forming foods and chlorophyll. So that's really what you go for in the morning for your breakfast. I mentioned high proteins, and that's important because elderly they lack a little bit in their diet of proteins, but don't go overboard. Despite the fact that Eskimo women, for example, get over 2,000 milligrams of calcium a day because they have a high consumption of fish bones, for example, and they even exercise regularly, they are known to have the highest rate of osteoporosis in the world. And why is that? It's not just bad luck. It means it is because they eat so much protein, like 250 to 400 grams a day, and also a lot of fat, that this excess causes an increased calcium loss. So it's really important to have a great ratio between protein, your intake of protein, maybe 3 times a week rather than every day, meat. It's important here as well. Just want to point that out. I always bring in homeopathic remedies because this combo with your lifestyle changes, as well as homeopathic remedy, I think, is the most effective way and the most lasting way to create really visible changes. In this video, I like to strengthen or focus on only 3 main homeopathic remedies. And they are not the remedies which you usually get in your health food store, but they are a specific kind of remedies. And they are called biochemic homeopathic tissue salts. And in the US, it's called cell salt, like the cell. And these work better here. So you do get them in your health food store, but look for a specific kind. As I said, they're called biochemic homeopathic tissue or cell salts. You get them in your health food store for sure, or even online. In the US, the manufacturer is called Highlands, or I have a great supplier. They're called Best Made Natural Products. They have a really great product called Bone Builder. I leave the link in the description box below. In the UK, it's the manufacturer New Era mineral salts. So look out for that. That works the best. The first really great product is called calcium phosphate or Calc phos. You look out for that. And here is the emphasis that it promotes healthy cellular activity. It restores tone to weakened organs and tissue. It also is a great remedy for weakened digestion and assimilation problems. Remember, osteoporosis is not just only related to the bone loss in itself, but for nutrient deficiencies and the lack to assimilate and take in the minerals and the vitamins in the body. So with Calc phos, you often see slow circulation. You have stiffness and soreness and weakness of the bones, and the joints, and often they're experienced by those who need this remedy. There can be aching in the bones, especially the neck, upper back, and the hips can be quite distressing here. There's a deep tiredness which is frequently felt, and especially after exercise. Despite the lack of calcium, there can be calcium deposit and bone spurs may be developed even while general bone loss is taking place, and the fractures, they really heal very slowly. The next one is called calcium fluor. You can see already they're all calcium products. And they're due to a relaxed condition. There can be maybe enlarged varicose vein, but associated to general ulceration or eczema even. But it's just a sluggish circulation. Again, these remedies work on their circulation. We have a backache with dragging down paring pains, call for this remedy, as well as chronic synovitis. Its value is really affects the surface of the bones, cracks and cuts in the skin. So it's a really poor condition also in the enamel of the teeth and calls for the cell salt. So this combination of Calc phos and Calc fluor is fantastic here. You also want to think about silicea. One of my favorite ones. It's made from quartz crystal, right? So it gives you the grit of your bones. And it's deep and it's long lasting. It's particular for imperfect, nourished constitution, and if there's a history of deficient assimilation. Again, we want to focus on, not just pumping your body full of calcium, but can you actually absorb the calcium? Can you assimilate it? So silica acts more upon organic substances of the body, involving particular the bones, the joints, the glands, and the skin. And silica can dissolve this accumulation of urates, which are lodging around the joints and the muscle, which can occur especially in rheumatic ailments. It also treats poor memory in elderly particularly. It's a great remedy for our elderly, absent-mindedness, difficult thoughts. But these people are generally have a delicate sort of bone structure. They're not sort of really heavily boned, built. They're a bit nervous, they're easily tired, quite chilly often. And they have this refined and delicate appearance, I would say. Definitely weakness of the spine. Injuries in general, very slow to heal, and they tend to have this low resistance to infection. Now, how would you take them? Well, they're actually incredibly affordable, these remedies as well, in your health food store. I would say you take 4 tablets if you're an adult, of each of this product, Calc phos, Calc fluor, silica, twice a day, at least for 3 months. If you don't want to take them all together, you can also take 4 tablets of Calc phos in the morning, lunchtime Calc fluor, 4 tablets, or in the evening silica, 4 tablets. That's fine too. Whatever works best for you. Make sure about 15 minutes before and after you do not eat and drink. Just let it really dissolve nicely in your body. They're really effective and they will help you. If you already had a bone fracture and you want to heal your bone fracture first, there's a great remedy called Symphytum 30. And it helps the bones to strengthen, to heal the bone fracture. And also it helps, when the pain persists of old or healed fractures, you didn't really heal well. Symphytum is really great for it. So I would say Symphytum 30, 3 times a day. You maybe do that for 10 days and then start your Calc phos and Calc fluor in silica for 3 months. Of course, homeopathy offers many more indicated for this condition, but for the purpose of this video, I want to keep it simple and affordable, but also accessible. right? And you can go in your health food store and get this remedy. As always, if you have further questions, contact me at health@medicanova.net or my website medicanova.net. Leave your comments below, and I appreciate if you continue to subscribe, share and like these videos with your friends and family, because it helps me building my channel. So till next time, much love, take care, don't break a bone.